Well, hello, everybody, once again, and welcome into another Alumni Spotlight here on the Queen Sports Network, right here on YouTube. As always, I'm Mike Glennon. Today, I'm joined, and we are happy to have Louis Diankulu, class of 2019, and former standout here for the men's basketball team. My friend, thanks so much for taking some time out and talk with us. It's an honor to have you.
Anytime, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I mean, you were here for a couple of unbelievable years for this program. So can you just start off just talking about your time here at Queens and kind of, just the overall experience you had here as a Royal?
I mean, to be honest, it was probably the greatest experience of my basketball career. Just such a winning environment, being around a bunch of guys that were just dogs. I mean, whether it was my junior year with a bunch of studs or my senior year, both years were really memorable. And just being a part of these teams and being around those guys and just playing for each other and competing with each other was just an experience that I don't think anybody can say that there's no experience that compares to that, really. It was just competing and knowing that each guy out there was going to go and play their hardest every single game was just, it was the reason why we had so much success. We always had each other's back. We were always playing for each other, and coach always guided us the right way, and he always branded the culture to us, and it was just great. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Well, and I know I've talked with Coach Lundy, and that's what he's trying to procure here is that winning environment, but he's trying to do it in a fun way, not just a, drill sergeant type of way. And I know, he can joke around and cut up with the players, but when you need to take him seriously, I know you can take him seriously as well. And I'm sure he got a lot out of you guys here in your short time here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My thing is, everybody knew I'm a nice guy. So,
Sure.
Coach Lundy would get on me, but he knew I was a nice guy. So we'd have these conversations on the side, and he was like, "Man, Lou, you're such a good dude." Sometimes I'll yell at you and I'll just look at you and be like, "Man, he's really coachable." So I don't know, it's pretty funny, because Coach Lundy's really a good dude. Every single player that I've played with, or even from the past, they all love him. And I'm pretty sure everybody's a huge Coach Lundy fan because he's done a lot for us. He helps us through a lot.
Well, and that's the thing is, he gets guys from all different types of backgrounds, all the different types of, all over the country and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it all centralizes around that. So, let's start back at the beginning. As you grew up in Canada, ended up coming here for college. What was your main reason of coming to the U.S. for your education, collegiately that is, in terms of playing basketball?
Well, for me, I really wanted the exposure. So it goes back to my story when I came out of high school. I was originally supposed to try to go to a school out here called George Brown. Mm-hmm. I was convinced that that's what I wanted to do, but then after that, I ended up going to junior college. And when I went to junior college, after 1 year at junior college, I just knew that I can do great things. I could have a good basketball career. So I went from there, and then luckily, Coach G came to one of my games and stuff like that. And then we talked. And then right after that, I just knew that Queens was the home for me. And the whole season I'd talk to my teammates and be like, "Man, I want to go to Queens. I want to go to Queens. Man, did you see them? They just played LMU and they beat them in the conference. I want to go to Queens." It was so basically they got me off rip. So
I like that. It's funny. It's nice when you make that decision and every single thing you see solidifies that. You're like, you know what? I made the right choice in going there. So
I definitely made the right choice, 100%.
You mentioned you started off in junior college at McCook Community College in Nebraska. You were a two-time all-conference first team and an all-region team there. Can you talk a little bit about that junior college experience? Because I know that's a route that a lot of basketball players will take nowadays, is going through that junior college step and then on into a bigger program. So, what about that experience? What did you learn from that junior college experience that you think helped you at the Division II level?
To be honest, if you focus on the task at hand, great results come out of that. So for me, that's really what I kept telling myself, because obviously everybody knows, every junior college player knows, most junior colleges are not in the best cities. They're in the middle of nowhere, or they're somewhere deep in it's never what you're used to. Mm-hmm. So if you really stick to basketball and books, really, then everything really just falls into place because, like I said, there's not much distractions out there.
Sure.
It might be hard, but it's not much distractions. If you really love basketball and you really want to do something with basketball, then junior college is just going to make you thrive. So that's my advice. If you stick to the task, then good things will come right after.
I like that. I mean, it's one of those things that I've been out towards where McCook is, and you're right. There's not a lot of distractions out there. Sometimes, though, that can be an even bigger distraction for folks, is they just feel like they have to fill their time up with something. But like you said, it sounds like you really just dove into both basketball and the books, and it obviously led you to bigger and better things.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was a small community. The nice thing about it was everybody in the town knew who you were. You know, they had pictures of the players at the Walmart. You walk around town, everybody knows you because everybody comes out to the games. It was definitely a life-changing experience. It was great. I loved my 2 years there, and yeah, like I said, but I also focused on most JUCOs have unlimited gym time too. So it's like it's really just like I said, it's really just gym, school, and then back to your room, and then gym, school again. Like it's that's your schedule.
Sure.
And then yeah, I feel like it's a great way for a lot of people to thrive, especially if you're somebody that gets easily distracted. It forces you to mature, and for a lot of guys that are junior college players, that's why when they come in, they're kind of like, okay, you know what? Like I'm trying to have an impact right away because you understand that like, you know, you have to make it work. You have to figure it out. You're out there, you're used to being around nothing, so you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, basketball is all I got. So when they give you basketball like a 4-year program, you're just like, okay, you know what, like I could work with this. I could work with whatever you give me.
I like that. Yeah, short, sweet, to the point. I mean, it's one of those things that sometimes you just have to have that commitment, and the good things come from that point on. You talked a little bit about what had led you here to Queens and stuff, but what was ultimately that led to that decision? Can you talk a little bit about your conversation with coaching staff and stuff like that, and what was it that was so special about this place that you said that's where I need to be?
So every time I talk to G, we talk about this. So the one thing that stood out to me is when I was talking to a lot of coaches would message me like, oh, you had a great game. Like you had 26 and 18. And, oh, you had a great game. You had this much and that much. And you did this, you did that. But every time I talked to Grant, he would tell me what I need to do better for the next game. So every time he'd message me right after the game, I'm talking about the buzzer goes off. We have our little talk with the coaches after the game. I look at my phone, I get a message from Grant, and he'd be like, oh, you had this many rebounds. Why didn't you get 20? Why didn't you get 15? Why didn't you get 18? And I'd be looking at my phone. At the time, I'd look at him and be like, man, what? But then, like, as time went by, I was like, oh, no, he's trying to help me get better. Like, this is what I need in order for me to learn how to be a better player instead of just, oh, yeah, that's good. He's giving me criticism. He's giving me something I can build off of, something that I can use to help me move forward and be a better player on the court. So, and then after that, when I came to visit, like every single player I met was just great. Gotcha. I think I stayed with DJ and Tate, and they were just amazing. I met DC, who ended up being a close friend too. Who else did I? Mike Davis. I met Todd on my visit, and they were just all great guys. And then I was like, man, you know what? I could see myself playing with them. So that's really what helped me confirm my decision.
Well, that brotherhood, it all starts with the coaching staff. And I know I had talked to Coach Leonard about, kind of what his recruiting status, what his idea of recruiting is. And he said the same thing, and really kind of just mirrors what you said in terms of, there's one thing to say that they're great, which they are, but, we try to get them in the mindset of you can always improve before they get here. And obviously that's something that stuck with you and ultimately helped make the decision for you to come here. And, you came in during a year that you guys went to the Final Four in 2018. I mean, what a year that was. You yourself, though, you were in your first year, had some pretty good starting time. Started in a whole bunch of games, average just almost 9 points a game, just about 4 rebounds a game as well in 33 games that you started. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and how you felt you earned that playing time and what ultimately led to that season?
I mean, to be honest, I just try to play my role. So I was just trying to gel with the team. I was coming from a team where I had the ball basically like 75 to 80% of the time.
Sure.
And then I was transferring over to a team that was very well balanced, where it's not, oh no, it's not this guy's going to go and score 20 points every game. It was everybody on the team is going to get a meal. Everybody on the team is going to get a plate. Everybody's going to eat. So I had to learn basically in the off season. That's what I had to learn, that, okay, you know what? It's not about me. It's about we. So I was just in there just learning, and I just tried to do whatever I could do to help the team, to be honest. I wasn't trying to do too much. I was just trying to do exactly what coach asked me to do. And for me, that was rim running and, grabbing rebounds and defending and, being a force inside. So,
sure.
So yeah, it was really challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. It was very challenging, but once I started getting it and I started seeing results and I started seeing the type of team we were and the potential we had, it was definitely 100% worth it. And it was an amazing experience. So like I said, that junior year was very special. It was very special.
Well, and I will say I was there actually for that Elite Eight and Final Four that you guys were in Sioux Falls, because I was there with Lemoyne College, one of the other Elite Eight teams that were there, and I was fortunate enough to watch that Final Four game you guys had that went double overtime against Northern State. And I mean, and I remember leaning to my color commentator and saying the fact, I said, man, this is one of the most evenly balanced teams I've ever seen, because it didn't matter who came off the bench, who started. Like you said, everybody got a touch. Everybody seemed to be knowing what they were doing. And, it's just that mentality, obviously, that you guys tried to build all season long of being a role player and maybe not always having done that in your career. It obviously worked because you guys were an amazing team to watch. And then, of course, that carried into the following year as well, where you guys got right back to the same stage.
Yeah. It was definitely a selfless team. Everybody got excited when someone else had a good game. And it wasn't it wasn't fake love. It was generally, you knew that everybody was excited for you when you played well. And
Sure.
You knew you were excited when your teammate did well. For us, all that mattered was winning. We just wanted to win. We were going to do everything on that court to win. We were going to play hard. We were going to fight everything. Like we were going to give it our all every game. It's the same thing with my senior year. We had a bunch of guys that just bought in, and guys that were just locked in. We had, like, Kenny Dye came in as a freshman.
Yeah.
And he just ran with it, bought in, and he was great for us. He was a great point guard for us. And just like stuff like that, Van Turner came in. He was great for us too. Like a bunch of guys, Blake, Kavion, Jermaine Patterson, Jakai. A bunch of guys just came in their first year and they just bought in. And they gave it their all, and that's why we had the success we had my senior year also. So it's really just about – another thing I feel like Queens does really well, they get the players to buy into the culture. And you see the results. Every time you buy in, you see the results. The team starts winning. Even this year they bought in, and they had a great season. A young team, but they had a great season. Jamari,
Exactly.
Gavin, AJ, Kenny, they all played really well.
And that's one thing that, talking with Coach Leonard and Coach Lundy, they both were immediate to say was, we had a really young team. We didn't necessarily know what we were going to have, especially with some guys having some injuries early on. A few guys had to step up into these roles they had never actually experienced before. But, everybody kind of came into their own as that season progressed. And, I was joking around with Coach. I said, if you guys would have had 5, 6, 7 more games, it would have been, I feel like, going into that tournament, it would have been completely different. But the nice part about it is everybody is coming back, and then they're adding new pieces continually. So having that continuity, especially going from one year to the next, is huge. And that all starts with that winning culture, because you got to have guys that buy in and want to stay here.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing, once you see, I mean, it's hard to want to leave when you're winning and everybody's doing well. You know what I mean? To me, it was just, if you're a real basketball player, you want to win. You want to be a winner. You don't want to. I mean, I'd rather win 4 conference titles than go and average 20 every year, because at the end of the day, I have something to show for what I did. So, to me, it was really just buying in and winning. and winning and just playing at the best level that we can and playing on the biggest stage that we can. So like you said, the Final Four, making it to the tournament, all that good stuff. That was our goal. We were never going to settle for less. Everybody was like, we're going for the big dog. We're going for the championship. That's what we want every year. So
you got to have that hunger from day one. So there you go. You know, you talked a little bit
yes,
about
sir.
your senior year here at Queens, and you really outdid yourself in that senior season. Second team all-conference, all-Southeast region tournament team. You're averaging 12 a game, 7.2 rebounds, shot 58% from the floor. I mean, can you talk about that senior season and just that rhythm you found yourself in and kind of, you know, what you saw was a key factor to that?
I mean, again, it comes down to roles, right? So it was like, Lundy I had a talk with Lundy and he just wanted me to be, Brandon Lundy told me they need me to be more aggressive and they need me to be more dominant down there. So like I said, I was just trying to do whatever I could to help the team out, whether it was going out there and scoring, 18 and 10, or it was going out there and playing great defense, or if it was going out there and just grabbing a lot of rebounds, whatever they need me to do. Like I said, I was already bought in from my junior year. So it was really just coming in and just trying to run our system correctly and play through that and just be aggressive, right? And just find my niche within our offense. So that's really what it was for me.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, you've gone on to play a little bit of professional ball. Of course, you know, you just graduated in 2019, and then, of course, last year, COVID hitting and all that kind of stuff. Can you give the folks a rundown kind of what you've been doing since graduation and, you know, the types of experiences you've had playing at the professional level?
It's been great. It's been really great. It's been different.
Sure.
Definitely different because, like I said, it's a switch of roles. Because over there, it's really just, like I said, you're the import, so you have to step up and you have to do certain things that maybe sometimes you weren't used to doing in college. But it's definitely been a great experience, and like I've had the chance to meet a bunch of different kids, a bunch of different people from different countries. I've played in 3 countries now in the last year and a half, so I was very blessed for that. Just seeing cultures. My favorite experience was definitely like in Mexico because, you know, it was a whole different language. So it was like I was out there. I don't know how to speak Spanish. I know how to speak French, but not Spanish. So I was out there. It was just very different. And like seeing the love that people have for the sport around the world, even in the UK, it was seeing the love that the people have around the world. It's like, it's amazing. It's amazing because I'm used to seeing America and Canada. So for me, it was really just, wow, basketball really is a big game that brings everybody together. And it was just an amazing feeling for that. So I'm really thankful for that, to be honest, and looking forward to my next contract. So.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it has to give you a whole new appreciation for not just the sport of basketball, but really for kind of, you know, humans themselves, because you get to meet all these different ethnicities and, you know, different parts of the country, or different parts of the world, I should say. It's got to give you a more well-rounded picture of what the human race is like.
Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. It was, to me, it was, basically, is what I've been telling myself my whole life. You know, you could change someone's life by just being positive. And I've always heard people say like, oh, you know, just smiling at somebody and waving at them can change their lives for literally for the rest of their lives. So to me, I've just been trying to bring that energy everywhere I go. You know, I meet kids, I meet parents, I meet owners, I meet all these people. And I just want to display positive energy, just show people that, you know, like, you know, we're grateful to be here, you know, we're grateful to be alive. Life is actually a gift. So just being really appreciative and not taking the moment for granted, you know?
Hey, I like it. Listen, those are great words to live by. And I can tell you right now, you're a great guy to talk to. So I appreciate you spending some time with us here today. You know, last thing I'll ask you is I need you to be a little bit of a recruiter here for Queens. You know, if somebody was considering making this their home, what is it that you would say stands out about this place, not just on the court, but off the court, on campus, around just that type of community?
One, you will get love. You will always get love on campus. You will always get love in Charlotte, because what you do on the court, people off the court are paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. 2, there's no atmosphere like the Levine Center during the playoffs. Nothing gets better than that. 3, it's like a family. I know Queens is, is not 20, 50,000 people, but it's definitely one of the best families that you'll ever be a part of. It's lifelong relationships, and it's just love. It's love. It's love. Like I talked to some of the guys I talked to, I didn't even go to school with them. They're 4 to 5 years older than me, and they'll message me and we'll talk like we were there at the exact same time. So Queens is definitely a brotherhood that you will cherish for the rest of your life.
That's awesome, man. Hey, listen, there needs to be more people in this world like you, my friend. Let me tell you, with the positive energy you got,
appreciate that.
Trust me, I appreciate the positive energy. So appreciate you taking some time talking with us, Lewis, and best of luck in your next step. I know you're waiting on that next contract. So we, of course, are always rooting for you, and you always got a place to be right back here at Queens. So.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right, that'll do it for another Alumni Spotlight. Make sure you come back and join us each and every Thursday right back here at 10 a.m. on YouTube as a part of the Queen Sports Network. And as always, go Royals.